Welcome to part 2 of my Alaska Cruise vlog series. If you missed last episode, we had 2 days at sea and 1 glacier day. And in this episode, we get our 3 ports of call, starting with Skagway, where I am now, and we also get 1 more day at sea. And so here we are in Skagway. You can see the White Pass train coming through, and we actually booked an excursion on this train. It took us all the way to Fraser, Alaska from Skagway, and then we caught a bus back as part of the excursion, but I'm just going to get right into it with a time lapse for you guys. Here you go. The train took us all the way to Fraser, Canada. It was just the most incredible sights. The lake was so reflective. It was absolutely beautiful. I would highly recommend this excursion. It is well worth the journey. We also got the opportunity to walk around the town of Skagway a little bit. We took a streetcar tour as part of our excursion.
Actual state tree is the Sitka spruce, and there is a beautiful one on the right, the giant tree by the blue tree. Now you can probably tell the tips of that tree are brighter green. So those spruce tips, that's the new growth that comes in the spring. They're getting mature, but when they're tiny, people pick them and they eat them because that's one of the few natural sources of vitamin C we do have here in Skagway. So some people will pickle them, saute them, make jams, teas. Personally, I have tried to do all of it, and either I'm bad at doing it or it's gross. I don't like it. I think I just don't have a mature enough palate for it. Some people love it. There is one thing they do with the spruce tips, though, that even I enjoy. Beer. They make beer. Yeah, they incorporate the spruce tips into the hopping process. The vitamin C seeps into the beverage.
And we decided we wanted to try the famous Skagway Klondike Doughboys, so here's some footage of that. So it turns out I only had a picture, but it was really delicious. It's basically a fry bread with some cinnamon sugar. But if you didn't watch the last part, you might be wondering what exactly we're doing in Alaska in the first place. Well, allow me to explain. Previously on the vlog, RFK Jr. has discovered the location of Bigfoot. RFK Jr. intends to eat Bigfoot to gain healing properties. We're going to Alaska to get Sasquatch off the menu. We are here in Alaska looking for Sasquatch, and proof that we're on the right trail, we found one of RFK Jr.'s birds.
Hey everybody, these are my 2 ravens. I've gotten them by feeding them every day. I've gotten them to come in and join me.
He knows we're getting close and he's trying to stop us. We're not gonna let him. There, yeah, run away. Then we came across our very first clue. This sign is leading us to the last known sightings of Sasquatch. But there's an awful lot of places here, but we picked Juneau, Alaska to search for Sasquatch next. So that was our day in Skagway, Alaska. It was a great first stop, and I would highly recommend the train excursion. My favorite part is that you can actually stand on the outside part of the train and get the fresh air and the mist and the amazing views. I would highly recommend it. But now it is time for dinner at Animator's Palette. We had the classic Animator's menu, so I got the black truffle pasta pura sets. A lot of people really love these, but I think they're just okay. For my soup, I got the potato and leek soup. It's all right. It's got bacon on it. Pretty good. Not much to say. So for my main course, I got the teriyaki steak. It's a filet mignon cut of meat. And this was like legitimately one of the best steaks I've ever had, which was a big surprise having it come from just the regular Animator's menu, which isn't really my favorite menu. but it was cooked perfectly. It was nice and fatty. It was honestly one of the best steaks I've had. Maybe not the best, but it's pretty up there. The only thing with this dish is I'm not a fan of the wasabi mashed potatoes. I just don't really like horseradish in general. So the wasabi, it's a little not quite up my alley, but if you like wasabi, I'm sure you'll like it.
This is the Ramsay Classic. It is a beautiful sticky toffee pudding.
I think Gordon said it best. This was just a really delicious sticky toffee pudding. I get this every time I go to Animators, and you can find it at Cabanas sometimes too, so just a delicious dessert. All right, so we are just pulling out of Skagway, Alaska. I just won 90s music trivia. There's my medal. So this is us pulling out of Skagway. You can see over here, down that middle gangway is where we were parked. There is the Holland cruise ship still parked over there. And we actually learned an interesting fact. You can kind of see where the greenery is different. So there was a rock slide there a number of years ago that took out all the trees, and it ended up hitting a cruise ship that was there. So now the cruise ships, the passengers aren't allowed to walk down that gangway. They have to be tendered in further into town. It's a small town, like Western Frontier, kind of gold rush town. So you can't really see any of it from over here. But yeah, we're pulling away right now. Very beautiful view as we just come out of this area. Here we are in Juneau, Alaska, the capital of the state, and we are looking for more clues. We are hot on the trail. You can smell the brine of the ocean, and it is perfect for masking the scent of Sasquatch. It's the perfect cover. So here's a look around Juneau just from the port. We had some time to kill before our excursion, so we decided that we were going to walk to Overstreet Park. We were told it was really close, but it ended up being quite a bit of a walk there and back to the port. But here's our journey. Road work ahead. Yeah, I sure hope it does. A worm. RFK Jr. is close. That is the federal building. That is where they house all of the Sasquatch evidence that they don't want you to see. As you can see, there's a bunch of ravens right here by the federal building. This is no coincidence. We are deep in enemy territory right now. We are completely surrounded. It's a murder of crows. As you can see, these two crows are fashioning a weapon out of a stick. Maybe it's a clue. A triangle. Triangulation. So this is the park that we took forever to get to, but now it's time for our excursion. As a child, I yearned for the mine. So we finished off our excursion at the AJ mine by panning for gold, and then after this, we took a trip over to the Mendenhall Glacier. We are here in Juneau, Alaska, at the Mendenhall Glacier. You can kind of see the glacier over there a bit. You can get a better view. There's a viewing point further that way. But right here, we are at Nugget Falls. I just had to touch the water, and it surprisingly wasn't too cold. So here's a different view of Nugget Fall. You still can't see the glacier good from here. Funny enough, you can actually see the glacier very, very well from just the entrance to the park. This is like the parking lot and you get a great view of the glacier. The visitor center has views of the glacier and the falls. You don't have to hike if you don't want to. So for this night, we were at Tiana's with their regular menu, which is my favorite menu out of all of the ships on the cruise line. Regular Tiana's is the best menu, and this is my favorite dish on the whole ship. It's the shrimp and grits. It comes with shrimp, barbecue sauce, cottage cheese, sauteed onions, and cheesy grits, and it is so good. I had 2 of these. For my entree, I had the Chilean sea bass, which I also really love. I don't like fennel. You can kind of see I pushed the fennel to the side, but great dish. I didn't take pictures of my desserts, I forgot, but I absolutely love Mama Odie's bread pudding. It's bread pudding, but with a croissant. It is delicious, and of course we had beignets as well. So our next port of call was Ketchikan, Alaska. I didn't do too much filming here. It was kind of more of a chill day, but we went to Creek Street and we went to see the Great Alaskan Lumberjack Show. The only thing is you can't film the show, but you are allowed to take pictures. So I'll put in some pictures and some stock footage to show you guys.
Wonder.
So in the Lumberjack Show, basically there's 2 teams. There's Team USA and Team Canada. We were Team Canada. Let's go, national pride. I'm not even Canadian, but I felt it. The energy in the crowd was just incredible. I felt very competitive. I was booing people like I've never booed before. So it's definitely very interactive as a show. There's audience participation. I thought it was really entertaining. I think my whole family liked it. It was kind of a mess getting into there, getting seated, waiting for it to start, if I'm being honest. But once the show started, I think the show was great. It was very entertaining, especially if you've got little kids. I feel like they did a lot to accommodate the families. We were on a Disney cruise, but it was really entertaining, like if I'm being honest. I don't want to spoil too much of the show, so I'm going to get into the Disney end, because we did have the Disney exclusive show. So the selling point for the Disney exclusive show is that Goofy comes out and he's a part of the show. And I thought he was going to be doing some sort of lumberjack stuff, but really what he does is he comes out and he plays chicken fat with the kids. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard. It's like an exercise thing they play for kids in like elementary school. My parents don't know what it is, so maybe it's a newer like Gen Z thing that they play this for PE in elementary school. But they did that, and the song's just like, do 10 push-ups, do 10 sit-ups, but it's a song, so it's supposed to be fun. But that's all Goofy did. So I guess that's really fun. If you're a kid, you got to go do it with him. I always hated PE, so I don't think I would have had fun if I was a little kid doing this. But you do get Goofy, and he's wearing a lumberjack costume. But it really doesn't affect the show. This all happens before the show starts. Sadly, we did not find Sasquatch here in Ketchikan. It's now time for us to give up and leave Alaska. We can only hope the best for our furry friend. So to start things off, we had sit-down lunch on this day, and I got some roast lamb for my main course. It was kind of bland, if I'm being honest. We shared desserts at lunch, and so going from left to right, on the left, we have a pecan cheesecake, which was all right. Then we had apple fritters in the middle, and these were so good. They're honestly one of my new favorite desserts on DCL. And then all the way on the right, we have the cherry tart, which was actually very tart. It was actually very tasty, not too sweet. You kind of needed the cream, actually, because it had so much cherry flavor. But I thought all 3 of these desserts were really good. So to bridge the gap between lunch and dinner, my dad got this braised beef short ribs for lunch, and my mom tried it. She loved it so much, she ordered one for dinner. And so you can do special requests like that on DCL. They're very accommodating. They have the recipes. They'll make it for you if you just ask nicely. And so, yeah, this has been one of both of their favorite dishes on all of DCL. And then for dinner, we had it at Trident's, and we had lobster night. And so I got a lobster tail and also a Parmesan crusted chicken with some pasta. The chicken was a little dry. The pasta was a little undercooked. This dish wasn't great. But on the other hand, I did have my lobster tail. And huge shout out to our head server, Whit, because I was looking at this thing like I'm not even sure how to get the meat out of here. And he came by, and in like 2 seconds, he had gotten rid of like all of the shell. It's really impressive. Great service and pretty good dinner. We shared desserts again. So going from left to right, on the left, we have a strawberry bread pudding that was really good. In the middle, we had a creme brulee, and I've already talked about how much I love creme brulees, so that one was a hit. And then on the very right, we had what was called the apricot trio, which had like a little cheesecake, a little tart, and then some cream, which was overall pretty good. I also got the Davy Jones, which was the drink of the day, and I love pirates, so I had to get it. And it was just like a pretty decent pina colada with like orange added to it, so it was a pretty good drink. It was one of my last nights on the ship, so I decided to enjoy all the ship had to offer, and so I went up to the top deck where they have a giant movie screen to watch my favorite Disney movie, The Emperor's New Groove. Even more food is on the way because we went to Paulo Brunch, which is the adults only fine dining restaurant on the ship. And I'd wanted to go to this on previous cruises, but I wasn't an adult yet, so this was my first time. So we started out with an Italian antipasto. We picked the seafood one, which comes with shrimp, a Jonah crab claw, ahi tuna, salmon gravlax, and a mussel. And I mean, everything here was good and fresh, but this is all stuff that you can get elsewhere on the ship. Salmon gravlax had been on the MDR menus before. You can get shrimp at Cabanas. You can get Jonah crab claws at Cabanas. Nothing felt like it was that special to be charged an additional charge. Like, it was good. The service was good. Presentation is nice. But you could have eaten the same thing for, not for free, but without spending extra money on other places at the ship. So next up, going from left to right, we have on the left a non-alcoholic sparkling peach beverage. We have some pastries. They come around with a tray of pastries. You get to take your pick. I picked a fruit tart and an almond croissant. Both were delicious. And then there was also the bread service, which has like sesame crackers, ciabatta, focaccia, and some like pretzel stick type things. So pretty decent. I can confidently say that this is the best pizza I've ever had in my life. It was half margarita, half spicy Italian sausage. The sausage side, that's kind of hard to say, but that side was the best side. It was so good. It was so flavorful. It was a tiny bit spicy, just enough to get me. I've got a pretty high spice tolerance, so maybe some people might find it too spicy, but I thought it was the perfect amount. The margarita side I thought was also good. I would have sprinkled like a little crunchy sea salt or something on it, but I think this was the best pizza I've ever had. It was super good. So there's also a breakfast side to this brunch. You can get a selection of waffles or pancakes and some eggs done in different ways. We shared the Mickey cinnamon apple waffle, which was very good. And I had an Eggs Benedict on smoked salmon, which was also very good. I found the hollandaise sauce to be a little too rich, but that's honestly just me with all hollandaise sauce. I'm not huge on it, but I thought it was still good, smoky, salty, and the waffle was very, very good also. But much like some of our previous courses, you can get Mickey waffles elsewhere. They have sit-down breakfast that can get you a waffle that's honestly on the same par. It's a Belgian waffle. It's just not shaped like Mickey. And then as far as Eggs Benedict go, you can get even a smoked salmon Eggs Benedict like this at Cabanas as well, and at those sit-down breakfasts. The only difference was this one had just like a tiny bit of caviar on it. So it felt like we could have just got this elsewhere on the ship. For my main entree of the meal, I got the veal cutlet, which was very good. I do have to say, I think the sauce was a little bitter, but it just fell right apart like it's supposed to. It was very good. But my mom got the famous chicken parm, which was a lot of the reason we even wanted to go. We'd seen a lot of hype for this chicken parm online, but it genuinely was not good. Like, the texture was off. My mom had serious troubles with it, and it just was not a good chicken parm. My dad had a sirloin steak that looked good, but at the same time, if you're paying like an extra, if you're paying a premium, I feel like they should offer a nicer cut of steak than a sirloin, but his steak was very good. He did enjoy it, so it was all there in the flavor department. Next up is the desserts. So I had a molten lava cake with hazelnut gelato that was very good, very chocolatey, as well as strawberry pistachio panna cotta. And I really, really like the panna cotta. It's a very nice and light dessert, especially after such a big meal. And if I'm being honest, I didn't feel overstuffed like I did at some of the regular dinners. I feel like even though they bring you a lot of food, it's very manageable portions. I don't feel like I overate too much. I didn't feel gross afterward. It was a very good dining experience. So what's the verdict on Paulo? Is it worth it? Is it not? So here's my opinion. So number one of the things you hear a lot about with Paulo is the service, and we did get excellent service. We had a very great waiter. He looked like Canelo, but the thing is, and this is kind of how I feel about all of Paulo in general, is that the rest of the cruise line is doing so well that Paulo doesn't feel like it's that much better than everything else. So our server was excellent. He was fantastic. He did a great job, but so are our servers in the main dining room. And while our server Apollo was able to give us more attention, I feel like our other servers are still very high quality. So to me, the quality is so high everywhere that Paulo doesn't represent an enormous jump in quality. And to me, that extends to the food. The food that I had at dinner every night was very good. The food I had for breakfast every night was very good. And besides from the pizza, I feel that every dish at Paulo was just as good as the rest of the ship. And that's not a diss on Paulo. That's a compliment to the rest of the ship. And I talked about our server at Paulo. One thing he did that was very, very nice is we had said that we were celebrating the cruise for my graduation, and he came back with this plate that said congratulations in like chocolate and different types of jams or compotes. Compotes is what the fancy ones are called, which was very thoughtful and very nice. So we had a great experience at Paulo. We had great food, the best pizza I've ever had. The question just comes down to, is it worth more than you're already paying for the rest of the ship? And honestly, I think no, but it's still something fun to try at least once if you're really interested in a nice food dining experience. So after the character dance party, we just kind of hung out around the ship. Here you can see some of the famous DCL towel animals. These get left on your bed every night. It's a new one each night. I also went to Cove Cafe and got a Mickey Mouse hot chocolate. They can put any design on your hot chocolate or coffee that you want. And here I thought it would just be fun if I gave you guys a look around the main level of the ship, level 3. This is where the atrium is. This is where you board the ship for the first time. It's got the big statue. This is where a lot of events go down. But here is just the hallway by Triton's, which is the restaurant that's in the main atrium. A nice view out the portholes. And yeah, I just thought it would be cool if I gave you guys a look around here, see what the inside looks like. But I am actually on my way to go meet my parents who are playing bingo, aka Disney gambling.
Card KG58. It sure does. What is that card number? It is 1. Another good claim of bingo! All right.
So this is the animation show at Animator's Palette, and basically everybody gets a piece of paper at their table at the start of dinner, and they get to draw their own character and then have it animated and put into this show, which is really cool. So I'm going to point out every time mine or one of my families pops up, so be looking out for our characters. So we had the Animator's Alaska menu on this night, and none of us were really that hungry, so I just ordered a light appetizer of a caprese salad. And normally caprese comes with balsamic vinegar, which I don't like, but this one didn't have it, so I loved it. It was a great appetizer. My entree was not quite as good. It was a beef Wellington, and I just did not like the mushrooms. There was just something about them, and I really feel like I let Gordon Ramsay down.
What are you? An idiot sandwich.
After dinner, we had the Until We Meet Again celebration, which I'm not going to spoil too much of in this video, but it's an opportunity for you to get pictures with all of the characters that you missed during your voyage.
Alright, now that we're all together, I think this is a perfect picture moment. What do you think? Yes, I think so too. So everyone...
This brings us to the end of the vlog and the end of the cruise. Thank you so much for watching. This was a really fun trip, and I'm glad to share it with you guys. But this was just a great voyage. I love the Disney Wonder. This was my second time sailing on it, and this is my third Disney cruise overall. I can't wait to go on my next one. Just the level of service, the food, everything about it just feels right for me. I think they're great vacations. I would highly recommend them to anyone, whether or not you have a family or young kids. They're a great trip, and I really hope that the Wonder and the Magic don't get retired soon like everybody's saying. I love those ships. They're my favorite in the fleet. But thank you so much for watching. I know exactly what you're thinking. But what about Sasquatch? What about Bigfoot? Is Sasquatch okay? Is he all right? Well, I've been pondering on this a lot. And maybe Sasquatch wasn't the real Sasquatch. Maybe the real Sasquatch was the journey we had along the way.